Warm welcome to each one of you. Today is a crucial day as Nifty has registered a new low on the daily charts, and 23,000 is almost broken down if we speak of intraday levels. Well, the last 4 months, particularly have not really been good if you are a bullish, if you are an investor or a bull market trader. And essentially we've grinded down slowly steadily towards lower levels. Well, परसेंटेज वाइज ये करेक्शन इतना बड़ा नहीं है. अगर निफ्टी को हम देखें तो 26,000 के आसपास से करेक्शन चालू हुआ और आज भी हम 23,000 पर है. तो परसेंटेज वाइज ये करेक्शन बड़ा नहीं है. लेकिन अगर हम एब्सोल्यूट स्टॉक्स को देखें, इंडिविजुअल परफॉर्मेंसेस को देखें, तो सम ऑफ दी stocks have corrected in a very brutal fashion, and the primary reason for that has been the declining earnings or the contraction that we've seen in the last quarter and this quarter also. So far the numbers that we've seen, barring 2 or 3 names like say Reliance, Sunpro or a Kotak Bank, most of the numbers haven't really excited the markets in a big way. Now, what we've done is we've identified a list of, we've scanned through multiple stocks, essentially the NSE 500 universe, and worked around the top 5 ideas which could create alpha, which could create wealth in the calendar year 2025. So today's agenda is to discuss these 5 ideas in detail. And secondly, what should be the market outlook at this point in time? How do we, devise our strategy to navigate this period of volatility? We have the big event of the budget coming up. We have the RBI policy meet scheduled in the first week of Feb. And how will the markets sort of react to these events, and what could be our strategy? So, to begin with, if we do a top-down approach, the US markets have been doing fine. There was a correction that was seen, but then the bounce back is there. Surprisingly, we are underperforming them, and we haven't really seen a bounce back of that sorts. Even Europe is relatively doing pretty well, and as far as India is concerned, there has been a continuous outflow of money, especially in the cash segment. So in the last 30 days itself, FIs have sold more than 70,000 crores worth in the cash segment, and they hold aggressively short positions in the index futures. More than 3 lakh contracts have been held at a consistent level, and this has been the primary reason for the markets to sort of underperform, create lower highs and lower tops, and the kind of grind that we are seeing on a day-to-day basis. Now, where do we see that ending? So there are 2 ways to this. So one is, let us say, the worst is behind us. If the worst is behind us, that is an assumption in terms of the quarterly numbers. So let us, assume that case A, the quarterly numbers that are going to be announced from now on in the rest of this earnings season are not as bad as expected. If that happens, markets may see a very sharp recovery, and we may head towards 24,500, 25,000 on the upside. Case 2 is, let's say the earning numbers continue to disappoint. There is, this quarter also, if the numbers are lesser than expectations, then Nifty may deep dive lower, and we may even see Nifty heading towards the 22,000 mark. Now, what happens, what is the probability of which of these 2 cases playing out? So based on our calculations, based on technical analysis, purely seeing the way the markets are currently positioned, we feel that the probability of case A happening is pretty high. Now, we have our reasons for it. One of the reasons being, the problem where, or either we have to look at sectors which were problematic in the first place. So if you remember, it was the FMCG which was problematic. We saw sharp corrections happening over there. We saw Reliance correcting in a big way. We saw the private banking pack taking a dip. It was HDFC Bank seeing the correction. So we are seeing that most of these negative or most of these reasons for the stock market to correct, or these counters or sectors most of these have achieved their downside targets, and in fact, something like a Reliance has started outperforming the market. So if we simply do a comparison from 13th of December until date, or just 1 month of movement from 13th December until 13th January, we're seeing that Nifty is down by 6%, but Reliance is only down by less than 1%. So a lot of that can be attributed to the oil performance that we've seen. Brent oil has done well over the last 1 month or so, and probably that is one reason why Reliance downside was limited. So the reason why we speak Reliance is Reliance का जो weightage है Nifty में वो बहुत high है. It can single-handedly make or break the Nifty's setup in on any given day. So that is the reason why we are discussing Reliance. And secondly, banks or bank Nifty has been a cause of a concern. We saw a very small but a very decent bounce back happening in PSU banks in the last 3 trading sessions. So barring today, I think until yesterday things were fine for PSU banks, and today they've seen a pullback happening along with the broader market. So PSU banks have shown some bit of green shoot at this point in time. So long story short, what we are expecting is there are no leaders apart from an IT, which is sort of started correcting just last week post the results, the IT index. There are no real leaders that could take the Nifty lower unless and until it's a total disappointment that happens on the earnings side. So 22,800 roundabout, plus minus 100 points here and there. I think there is a very strong chance that Nifty hits that level, and we see a capitulation low happening anytime soon. So our estimate is over the next 10 days, say until budget, we see this kind of low happening in the market. And when that low happens, since markets react on both sides, overreact on both sides, whether it is on the way up or it is on the way down, it could be that kind of a day where we see a Nifty which is down 300, 400, 500 points in a day, and see a vertical recovery on that given day. So we are keeping a close eye on volumes, whether institutional participation comes back into the market or not. Point number 1. Point number 2, we are looking for covering of shorts from the FI side. So far, the shorts have not been covered. As we speak, the long short ratio as of yesterday was 17%. So they are just holding 17% long. Rest of the positions are all short in the index future segment. And they have also been net sellers. The cash segment goes without saying, the big numbers that they are extracting out of the market. Now, what has also aided this outflow of capital is the weakening rupee. So rupee has headed above 86.5, which has essentially given them a profit without any of the investments doing anything. So this is like a gain, a windfall gain that FIs have enjoyed. And if the current trajectory of USD INR continues, it may very well head towards 90 rupees as well. So if that happens, we might see, at least the IT stocks will do well, but the rest of the market could face the pressure of that happening. So at this point in time, what we feel that given the budget, given the monthly expiry on the cards, 22,800, 22,700 is where we see the market bottoming out. Whether this is a firm bottom or this is a short-term bottom, that is an interesting question to ask. At this point in time, the best thing to do is take it as a short-term bottom. We may see a bounce back from those levels. Bounce back could nowadays mean anything from 1,000 to 1,500 point kind of a rally on the Nifties, because the base is quite big for the Nifty index. So 1,000 point rally is very much possible as a short-term bounce back that can happen probably in the first half of February month itself. So this is the view for the market and how to navigate the next few days of trading, given the kind of events that we have, given the kind of volatility that we are dealing with. And it's best to be hedged in case you have a portfolio. It's best to remain hedged, or at least switch sectors. In terms of like already, I believe a lot of damage has been done. So probably it's a bit too late for for this call. But the point here is, probably we are done with about 90% of the pain. 10% of it may happen over the next few days. Now coming to the top 5 setups, the stocks which can do well, the stocks which are showing some signs of bottoming out, and there could be a possible trend reversal happening on the same. So let's see. So these are the we had released this report in the first week of January. This is about, we've had 6 quarters of relentless outperformance in the markets. So 6 quarters of no real correction in the Nifty, and finally a correction happened in the last quarter and seems to be continuing in this quarter as well. This was primarily, like I said, on the back of earnings and rising inflation. Now, we believe that end of the year Nifty should be headed towards the 26,000 mark. If this has to happen, these are the top 5 bets which you can take as an investment going into the year 2025. So the first one, without doubt, is from the NBFC space, Bajaj Finance. This stock has bucked the trend. We've seen, in spite of Nifty hitting a newer low in the month of January, the Bajaj twins haven't really gone lower. They have outperformed the market in this down move. In fact, it has been a little under 1200 days that the stock has underperformed the market, both the Nifty as well as the Bank Nifty. And now I think the time is ripe for this breakout to take place. So the triangle formation, once the breakout does happen around the 7600 area, we feel there is a good upside to be had. There are multiple supports for the stock, so keep that in mind in case the volatility worsens over the next few days. 6790, 6450 and 6200. These are the multiple levels on the downside where major supports are placed, and staggered addition can be done in case there is volatility. Now, this is one of the stocks which look very good. You could even consider Bajaj Finserv as well. Both of the stocks have a similar setup, but between the two of them, I think Bajaj Finance is slightly more, shaped, well shaped, or the technical setup is more balanced, if I can call that. That's the reason why we picked up this stock. Another stock which is again from the financial services space, particularly the insurance sector, is SBI Life. It came very close to the 4-year support line around the 1400 mark, and the risk reward is very favorable. So this is the trend line that we've drawn from the year 2020 until date, and the long-term trend line is where the support of the stock is. And at this point in time, around 1400, the risk reward is very favorable for a turnaround. And if the turnaround happens, the upside can be big as well. So the targets we'll discuss in the coming slides, but as of now, visually speaking, this is the reason why we feel that the vertical correction is about to get over in SBI Life, or it has almost gotten over, and now I think is a time for a strong reversal in the same. Another stock which has been doing fairly well, this is Gravita. This is one of these stocks which has grown very rapidly in the last few months, and the stock has almost tripled in the last 12 odd months or so. And there is a bullish pole and flag pattern that is seen on the weekly charts, which is essentially a continuation pattern. There is a relative outperformance is already there, meaning when the markets have corrected, the stock has shown resilience. This is something that we feel that can be accumulated, and the next leg of the rally can be pretty rewarding, considering the kind of up move that we've seen in the first leg of the up move, the stock tripling from 800 odd all the way up to 2600, 2500 on the upside. On the capital goods space, it is Larsen & Toubro, which looks pretty solid. The prices are only getting better as the markets have come down. But it has been 12 months of sideways action for this stock. So for the last 12 months, the stock hasn't really gone anywhere. In fact, it is also a bullish pole and flag pattern that is seen on the long-term charts. And when such breakouts take place, generally it is followed by massive institutional action, which is volume-based buying happens, and the moves can be very rewarding as well. So Larsen & Toubro is our pick from the capital goods space, which can build the next bridge of growth. And if we were to go by what may come in the budget, is there could be focus on the infra and construction side, which can benefit Larsen & Toubro, and overall it can keep the sentiment high for the sector as well. So one FMCG stock where we feel that there is an attempt to create a base. So on the 4800 mark, we've seen the stock doing to and fro. In fact, the long-term support line is at 4400. So the best thing to do is to maybe buy the stock in two tranches. One tranche can happen over here, another tranche can happen at lower levels, and accumulation can be done over the next few days. And we believe that this can be a success. This can be a very good outperformer, because the way the Nifty FMCG index is placed, it is one of those indices which is showing resilience, and it is back to its true nature of being a defensive. So a few months back, FMCG was no more a defensive. As it went up with the markets, it went down with the markets as well. So there was actually participation on both sides. But now I think finally that period has come back where FMCG may get back to its defensive best, and on a falling market it may fall less. But once the market turns around, there could be participation on the upside, which means slow and steady, the stock could head higher over the next few months. So to sum it up, these are the 5 ideas. Essentially, the prices have changed after we've released this report. But broadly, we're looking at something which can deliver a return of 25 to 30% over the next 12 months time frame. And these are the 5 stocks which you can buy for delivery in your Demat account. Hold them, and we feel that technically these can pack a punch. At a portfolio level, we advise stop loss of 12%. So suppose you invested 1 lakh rupees, and if the portfolio goes down by 12%, or say 12,000 rupees, that would be your closing stop loss. And on the upside, we expect this portfolio to give a return of anywhere in the vicinity of 25 to 30%. The allocation has to be equal, so all of these 5 stocks can be bought in equal proportion, and these are the targets for these individual names. So Bajaj Finance, we are targeting 8900, SBI Life 1880, Gravita can deliver a punch, 40% upside can be expected in this, target of 3200, Britannia an upside of 25%, and Larsen & Toubro an upside of 20% is something that we are looking at. So this is these are the top 5 charts based on the kind of current opportunities that the markets are delivering. Yes, I know there could be some stocks which may do even better than these, but what we focused on is to keep a blend of 4 of these stocks are essentially large cap stocks. One of them is a small cap or a lower mid cap stock, which is Gravita. So we've tried to keep a balance between sticking to large caps primarily and giving a blend of a high beta stock, so that that can take care of the alpha generation as well. So net this is all that I have for today's presentation. What we can now do is we can open the floor for Q&A. In case you have any questions, queries, feel free to I don't know if there's a window to comment, or you can go ahead with your questions. The moderator can help you on that.
How to do option hedging and manage it?
Yeah, so option hedging, essentially becomes very important, because we've seen whenever we've had events, it is the option prices which shoot up because of such events. So what happens is, simply put, निफ्टी बाय करने के कंपैरिजन में निफ्टी का कॉल बाय करना इजी हो जाता है, बिकॉज डाउनसाइड आपको पता है कि लिमिटेड है. सो ऑप्शंस या कॉल या पुट दोनों ले लो, दोनों के प्राइसेस जो है वो बढ़ जाते हैं, प्रीमियम्स बढ़ जाते हैं, यानी कि आईवीज जो है इनकी वो बढ़ जाती है. सो हेज करने के लिए सबसे बेस्ट तरीका है कि आप एट द मनी ऑप्शंस लेके, अगर कोई बहुत बड़ा इवेंट है जहां पर जैसे जनरल इलेक्शंस हो गया, जहां पर मूव या तो 5% 10% ऊपर का होगा या 5% 10% नीचे का होगा, ऐसे केस में स्ट्रैंगल या स्टैडल स्ट्रेटजीज आप ले सकते हो. अगर आपको प्योरली हेज करना है तो सबसे बेस्ट है आप निफ्टी के पुट ऑप्शंस बाय करके चलो. जैसे एग्जांपल, आज निफ्टी अगर 23,000 है और मुझे लगता है कि निफ्टी का जो क्रूशियल मेक और ब्रेक लेवल है, लेट अस से 22,700, तो 22,700 का पुट ऑप्शन में बाय करके रख लूंगा. अगर मेरा पोर्टफोलियो एग्जांपल से 10 लाख रुपए का पोर्टफोलियो है मेरा, तो मैं 10 लाख के हिसाब से जो निफ्टी का जो पुट ऑप्शन है वो बाय करूंगा. यानी कि अगर 23,000 का मैं पुट ऑप्शन बाय करता हूँ, जो कॉन्ट्रैक्ट वैल्यू जो है वो 10 लाख के आसपास अप्रोक्सीमेट मैं उसको रीच करने का ट्राई करूंगा. अगर मेरा पोर्टफोलियो हाई बीटा है तो शायद मैं 2x हेज लूंगा या 1.5 टाइम्स का हेज लूंगा. सो हेज का जो नंबर है वो वेरी कर सकता है आपके पोर्टफोलियो के नेचर के हिसाब से. अगर स्मॉल कैप मिड कैप पोर्टफोलियो है तो हेज की जो क्वांटिटी है वो ज्यादा लग सकती है. अगर लार्ज कैप स्टॉक्स है, निफ्टी 50 वाले स्टॉक्स है, तो हेज कैन बी 1:1 एज वेल. सो दिस इज हाउ यू कैन हेज योर पोर्टफोलियो यूजिंग ऑप्शंस. इसमें दो तरीके के बेनिफिट हो सकते हैं अगर व्यू सही जाता है तो। एक तो अगर निफ्टी गिरा नहीं और इवेंट के पहले आईवीज जो है वो बढ़ गए तो आपका जो प्रीमियम है पुट ऑप्शंस का वो ऐसे ही बढ़ जाएगा, उसमें आपको प्रॉफिट एमटीएम प्रॉफिट आ जाएगा और आप उसे या तो बुक करके निकल सकते हैं इवेंट के जस्ट पहले, और या जिस हिसाब से आपको इसे डिजाइन किया अगर मार्केट एक्चुअल में नीचे आ जाता है तो डायरेक्शनल मूव की वजह से यू विल बेनिफिट फ्रॉम दी डाउन मूव दैट हैपेंस एंड द पुट ऑप्शंस अप्रिशिएटिंग इन वैल्यू.
Can you share some insight about a stable portfolio to beat the benchmark?
So the best thing to do, to beat the benchmark, I would say Nifty Next 50 is a very interesting index, and the components are something which have historically delivered high beta return whenever the markets have done well. So it has been high beta on both sides as a disclaimer. But let us say Nifty is at 23,000. Instead of buying Nifty, you could very well cherry pick about 10 to 15 stocks from the Nifty Next 50 basket. NSE वेबसाइट पे अगर आप जाओगे तो आपको निफ्टी नेक्स्ट 50 की बास्केट के जो कॉन्स्टिट्यूएंट्स है वो दिखाई देंगे. तो एक डाइवर्सिफाइड आप एक पोर्टफोलियो बना लो जहां पर मोटा मोटी जो निफ्टी का जो रिप्रेजेंटेशन है जैसे 35% बैंक्स, 10% IT, 10% ऑटो एंड सो ऑन. सो इस हिसाब से आप एक सिमिलर पोर्टफोलियो बना के चल सकते हो with your own set of stocks but from the next 50 space. This is where the returns can be higher, alpha can be generated. But if you're looking for something which is very conservative, I think the best thing to do is buy Nifty ETFs, which can be a very very frugal strategy. And आप इसमें SIP करके भी चल सकते हो, यानी कि keep on continuing your SIP. Down markets में maybe you can double your SIPs, but we've seen that this strategy can be very rewarding. At the same time, it is very very fairly conservative as well. The costs are very low, and at the same time, because it is Nifty ETF, you are essentially getting what the Nifty is delivering on a year-on-year basis.
How to identify reversal on charts?
So there are multiple ways to identify reversals, but in this context of where we are in the market right now, I think the best way to identify reversals is to look for 2 or 3 or 4 confirmations that happen on the technical indicators. So some of them I've shared in the social media in the past. So for example, one is Nifty RSI below 30, or even if it is a stock RSI, the RSI can be below 30. Second is the put call ratio getting heavily oversold. So for Nifty, the put call ratio generally oversold is 0.65 and below, 0.50 and below for Bank Nifty. These are some of the numbers. Or the long short ratio of FI is, say, it goes down to say 10-12%. That could be an absolute bottom in place. So if 3 or 4 of these numbers align themselves at this in the same week, that is more than enough data to call for a bottom formation. Maybe you can add a bit of RSI or MACD divergence in case there is divergence building on the daily or hourly charts. Hourly charts may be a very short-term correction, but if you are looking for a proper correction and there is divergence building on the daily charts, that could be one strong reason for the markets to bottom out and move up from there. So these are some of the indicators that we use on a day-to-day basis. I hope that helps understand your question better.
What are the important factors which need to be watched in daily trading, especially on index trading?
So, keep an eye on where the option concentration is. Keep an eye on what, the institutional activity is in terms of the previous day. So, for example, the reason why we had recommended put options on the Nifty yesterday instead of Nifty going up yesterday was that essentially institutions are short on the market. And when you have the big guys maintaining their shorts, in fact, adding shorts at every interval, it is generally an indication that markets may not turn around unless and until there is that one big reversal that happens where short covering plus fresh buying happens on the same day. So this is these are things that you should keep an eye on when it comes to trading index on a day-to-day basis. Along with that, maybe you can add what is happening on the put call ratio, what is happening on the volumes front. For example, today was a high volume day, and plus also it was the weekly expiry as well. So a lot of that volume could be attributed to the intraday volatility plus the expiry that we had. But on a typical day, so for example, when there is no expiry happening and say if the market sees extreme volumes or if there is a change in delivery quantity, these are the indicators where we generally look for absolute tops or bottoms if they are formed, and these are generally they've worked well in the past.
How to identify when a stock is about to make a top or bottom?
Yeah, I think broadly it is the same set of indicators that I just discussed. We can get to the next question.
What is the key sector for 2025?
Yeah, so that's a good one. So it could be, NBFCs, it could be banks. The reason why we say that is because in the last 4 years, banking and NBFCs, or rather the financial services space, has been an underperformer. Banks have delivered single-digit growth over the last 4 odd years, and we feel that the time is ripe for a reversal. Whether that could be triggered by a rate cut or whether the earnings number actually surprise going ahead, only time will tell. But looking at the risk reward, we feel that banking and financials are the way to go, and essentially that is the reason why we included Bajaj Finance in our top 5 list. We feel that NBFCs can do well over this year.
What is the next support of Nifty after break of 23,000?
Yeah, so 22,800, 22,700 is where the support of the Nifty is placed. Like I said, in all likelihood, there is a chance that it takes support from there and then we see a bounce back happening. Where is a hard support for the market, or rather, the absolute, if I can call it that, in case earnings also disappoint, what could be the possible level on the downside? It could be 21,500 on the downside in case that happens. So 22,700 is an immediate support, and in case the earnings disappoint and 22,700 also gets broken, we may be very well headed to 21,500 over the next few weeks time frame. So keep these levels in mind in case you are planning to stagger your purchases, or in case you have long positions. These can be the stop losses, especially 22,700, as it is very, very relevant for this week as well.
So how to identify stocks IV, if it's higher or lower?
Yeah, so there are derivative paid apps or websites, or basically services which can be availed. We don't directly provide them, but some of the indicators that we use, like for example, like HV is a good indicator. So an HV of a stock or a historical volatility of the stock can be seen on the NSE website, can be calculated on the NSE website. Based on that, you can take a call, or alternatively, even if you track your top 10 stocks in which are very active in the option space, you will get a fair bit of what is happening on their IV side, and essentially help you track whether in a particular month if the IV is gone up or gone down. So like for example, Nifty, as we speak, the IV is around 15, 16, 17%. Obviously today they have gone up as the market volatility has gone up, but so every season has a different kind of a range. At this point in time, with the budget approaching, Nifty could very well head towards 20% India VIX as well, which is on the higher side. It may even cross 20% as well. So like for example, the best thing to do is keep a manual track of them, or if you want to sort of make some sense, maybe compare it with the historical volatility to see as a point of reference whether we are too far or too close from where we should have been. So that is one area where you can track IVs and make your investment decision or trading decisions based on that.
Thank you, Rahul.
Investment in securities market are subject to market risks. Read all the related documents carefully before investing.